Hello friends, today we are going to talk about a psychological horror film that slowly reveals its secrets and takes you into a world where reality and illusion blend together. The film's name is Sight, so let's begin this journey where at every turn, a new terror is waiting. The director of the 2025 movie Sight is Jason Eric Perlman. The story begins with Neil Bardo, a family man who lives a quiet life with his wife and young son. But one day he learns about an old military facility, a place that has been abandoned for years, yet its secrets have never been fully understood. Out of curiosity, Neil decides to go there. At first, everything looks like just another abandoned building, broken walls, rusted doors, and a strange coldness in the air. But as he moves deeper inside, he feels as if time has stopped, or maybe even started moving backwards. While exploring the facility, Neil suddenly experiences a strange flash, as if old memories are coming alive right before his eyes. On the walls, he sees marks of past experiments, rusted medical equipment scattered across the floor, and an eerie silence in the air that feels far more terrifying than peaceful. In the middle of all this, Neil witnesses a disturbing vision, a child riding a bicycle, but in the next instant, a sudden flash of light throws the child to the ground. When Neil regains his senses, he realizes it is his own son lying there, his eyes injured, and his vision slowly fading away. Seeing this, a deep fear grips Neil, but along with it rises a terrifying question: is all this real, or just a trick of his mind? After his son's accident, Neil returns home in a state of panic. His wife Alina cannot understand what has shaken him so deeply. Neil tries to explain that inside the facility he saw something completely beyond his control, but for Alina, it all sounds like nothing more than a strange and unsettling story. That night, Neil tosses and turns in his sleep. The blinding flash of light, the haunting vision, it keeps replaying in his mind. By morning, he decides that the only way to understand the truth is to return to that facility. But the more he thinks about it, the stronger the pull becomes. It feels as if something or someone is waiting for him inside, drawing him back against his will. When Neil steps into the facility again, the darkness feels deeper, heavier. Every corner seems alive, as if the building itself is watching him. The echo of his footsteps spreads through the vast, empty halls, amplifying his fear. Moving forward, Neil finds himself inside an old control room. Broken screens and scattered equipment lie everywhere, yet strangely, some of the monitors are still working, as if recently abandoned. On one of them, he sees his own face staring back, but it isn't really him. It's a darker version of himself, glaring directly at him. Suddenly, a heavy door slams shut on its own. Neil rushes to open it, but no matter how hard he tries, it won't budge. The walls feel like they're closing in, and he realizes the facility isn't just trapping him, it's leading him step by step toward a horrifying truth. Leaving the control room, Neil walks down a long, shadowy corridor. Old photographs line the walls, some of military officers, others of scientists, and many of ordinary people whose faces reveal unimaginable suffering. At the end of the corridor, he discovers a small room filled with old files, reports, and scattered photographs. On the cover of one folder, the words Project 731 are written. The name means nothing to Neil, but as he flips through the pages, his hands begin to tremble. Inside are disturbing photographs, evidence of horrific human experiments once conducted here. For the first time, Neil realizes this place isn't simply abandoned. It is a graveyard of secrets, a monument to cruelty, and whatever happened here hasn't truly died. With his heart pounding, Neil keeps turning the pages. Each new photograph reveals more horrors, strange machines, incomplete blueprints, and lifeless bodies, with eyes that still seem to stare directly at the camera. Among the scattered files, Neil also finds an old audio tape. Curious, he plays it. A cold, lifeless voice fills the room, the voice of a scientist, detached and clinical. The recording speaks of an experiment, one designed to bend and break the flow of time itself. The tape ends, but immediately, Neil hears a faint hiss right next to his ear, as though someone is standing dangerously close, whispering into him. He spins around, yet no one is there. Neil steps carefully out of the corridor, his movements slow and deliberate now. A chilling draft sweeps through every corner, carrying with it the unsettling impression that the walls themselves are breathing, hiding the souls of those trapped inside. At the next turn, his flashlight catches a glimpse of an old operating theater. Inside, chaos remains frozen in time, time. Rusted surgical tools, shattered glass, and at the center, a worn-out patient chair. Strangely, the chair sways ever so slightly on its own. Suddenly, for a brief moment, the room's lights flicker back to life, and in that instant, Neil sees him, a man sitting in the chair. His face is torn and mutilated, his eyes pale and lifeless, yet fixed directly on Neil. Before Neil can even react, the light dies again. In darkness, he raises his flashlight, and the chair is empty. His breath quickens. The fear now feels different. It isn't just inside his mind. Something from the facility is seeping into him, changing him. Every sound, every silence presses down on him, like a new threat. As Neil stumbles back into the corridor, the space itself seems to twist. A doorway he passed before is no longer there. In its place yawns a dark, endless tunnel. From within, the faint laughter of children echoes outward, soft at first, then rising, until it twists into blood-curdling screams. Despite the terror clawing at him, Neil pushes forward. Old papers and photographs crunch beneath his feet. He glances down, and every single photograph bears the same haunting face, the same face he saw in the operation theater. By now Neil is certain, the hallucinations and the distortions in time aren't random. They are the direct echoes of old experiments, the very ones conducted inside this cursed facility. The visions tie themselves to a deeper horror, reaching back to Unit 731 of World War II, the infamous prison camp where unspeakable experiments on human lives were carried out. The photographs, the voices, the faces he sees, they don't belong to his own past. It feels instead as though the facility itself has chosen him to bear witness to the torment it once held. But Neil realizes something far more terrifying. This isn't just his burden anymore. His wife Elena, and especially his son Wiley, are being pulled into its shadow. If he doesn't uncover the truth, if he doesn't face the grotesque secrets hidden here, the danger will consume them all. Determined, Neil sets his mind on finding the only man who might hold the answers, Dr. Harlan, the last surviving scientist tied to the project. Files reveal that Harlan carried the experiments forward, transforming Unit 731's horrors into something new. He called it Project Indra, a program designed to manipulate time itself, to erase atrocities from history. Neil wonders if within this horror lies the smallest chance of redemption, for himself, for his family, and for the forgotten victims of the past. The night is long. Neil can barely sleep. By morning, he shares everything with Elena. At first, she struggles to believe, but one look into Wiley's failing eyes is enough. She knows the truth now, and together, as a family, they walk back toward the facility. It feels less like a choice, and more like destiny pulling them into its heart. Deep within the complex, Neil, Elena, and Wiley discover what they were searching for, the ancient core of the facility, a sprawling device resembling both a particle accelerator and a time machine. This, Neil realizes, is the true blueprint. This is the machine meant to rewrite the sins of Unit 731. The family gathers, hands trembling, but united. Dr. Harlan warns them, activating the machine will ripple across time. It could undo lives, change history, and Neil's own existence may not survive the shift. But Neil, Elena, and Wiley make their choice together. For Wiley's future, and for the countless voices that were silenced in the past, they must risk it all. They activate the machine. A violent surge of light bursts outward, flooding the chamber with brilliance. For a moment, it feels as though the world itself is being rewritten. And then, the miracle. From the ashes of history, the long-lost victims, Jen, Defeng, Guang, emerge alive, breathing, walking free. In Harbin, they begin new lives, peaceful and ordinary, as though the horrors of Unit 731 had never been written into their fate. The ripple effect collapses Project Indra's monstrous overdrive. What was meant to spread terror across decades falters, dissolving into nothingness. The cycle of horror finally breaks. Neil's son Wiley opens his eyes fully. The light has returned. For Neil and Elena, a new path reveals itself, not just a second chance for their family, but a redemption that ripples out into lives they never even knew. The film closes not with triumph, but with quiet hope. Neil and his family stand on the threshold of a new beginning, yet the mystery lingers, a haunting reminder that time is fragile, and sincerity carries its own weight. Some doors may have closed, but others will always remain slightly open.